The girl accidentally sprayed breast milk onto her bathroom mirror and in that absurd, unguarded moment, stumbled onto a business idea. She pulled up a content subscription website on her laptop and scrolled through it, suggestive photos, tiered pricing laid out in plain sight. Chatting with a creator cost one amount, accessing original photos cost considerably more. For a college dropout and single mother with no income and a newborn to feed, it looked like a lifeline. She decided to try it herself. What happened next surprised even her. Anna was an 18-year-old university student whose exceptional talent in a literature course had caught the attention of her professor, Mike, who asked her to stay behind after class. What presented itself as private praise was something else entirely. For Anna, who had grown up without a father and carried that absence like an open wound, the attention of an older man in a position of authority felt like something rare and meaningful. A single love poem was enough to convince her she had found real love. Within a very short time, the two had crossed every boundary a teacher and student should not cross, and were conducting a secret relationship. Her closest friend warned her repeatedly to be careful, insisting that Mike was simply using her. Anna couldn't hear it. Not long afterward, while at her part-time job, Anna was hit by a wave of nausea so intense she had to stop working. Her employer suggested she take a pregnancy test. She was 10 weeks along. The doctor at the clinic asked gently, with the particular care one reserves for very young women in very difficult situations, whether she intended to continue the pregnancy. Anna still had hope. She called Mike immediately. He didn't just refuse to take responsibility, he began distancing himself from her systematically, eventually blocking her on every platform. When her mother, Xiang Jia, found out, she erupted. She was a single mother herself and knew exactly what lay ahead. She begged Anna not to do this, not to throw away a future that was still entirely open to her, not to repeat her own mistakes. Anna, stubborn and defiant to her core, decided to keep the child. At the baby shower, she unwrapped gifts with visible excitement. Beside her, her mother watched with an expression full of quiet dread. Anna withdrew from university to prepare for the birth. As the due date approached, the costs of everything, a single stroller ran $1,200 pressed down on her with a weight she hadn't anticipated. Xiang Jia gritted her teeth and bought the stroller. The two of them were wheeling it through a car park when Anna spotted a familiar figure. It was Mike with his wife and children. The rage that had been building in Anna for months ignited at once. She asked her mother to push the stroller away, took a breath, and walked over. She didn't lead with the pregnancy. She kept the conversation surface level and cordial, giving Mike just enough rope. He responded with something contemptible, questioning whether the child was even his. At that moment, Xiang Jia walked up. Mike's character was on full display. Anna looked at him for the last time, turned around, and walked away without a word. Back in the car, she lost control of her emotions entirely. She turned on her mother, accusing her of showing no joy whatsoever about the new life coming. Xiang Jia broke too. She wept and shouted at her daughter, telling her plainly that the bright future Anna could have had was sentenced to death the moment she chose to keep this baby. In her fury, she told Anna to get out of the car. After 9 months, Anna gave birth to a boy in the hospital. She named him Bao Bao. Still in the delivery room, she asked the nurse when her body would return to normal. Her mother answered first in a tone that offered no softening, telling her it never would, not the way it had been before. Anna felt the floor drop out from under her. She was discharged almost immediately after the sutures were done, her mother pushing her toward the exit before she had barely recovered. The financial reality of having no money had already made itself known in ways she couldn't ignore. She drove a friend's battered car home to her rented apartment, weak, aching, and holding a newborn, while Xiang Jia departed from the car park below like someone making an escape. Her roommates had stuck a welcome banner on the door. The warmth of it lasted less than half a day. By 2 in the morning, Bao Bao's shrieking filled every corner of the small apartment with no sign of stopping, no matter what Anna tried. It was only the beginning. Breastfeeding was causing severe inflammation and pain. The cost of diapers, nearly 200 yuan a pack, felt like punishment for every decision that had led her here. She took a job as a waitress, leaving Bao Bao temporarily with her mother. Less than an hour into her first shift, Xiang Jia appeared at the restaurant with the baby in her arms. The manager fired Anna that same evening, before she'd even finished clearing the tables. That night, her 2 roommates told her they were moving out in a week. The baby was disrupting their lives. It meant Anna would have to absorb $1,000 extra of rent every month. No job, rent about to increase sharply, no way out. That night, Anna found herself watching clips of professional wrestling matches online. A line stopped her, asterisk, what matters isn't how you fall, it's how you get back up and how hard you hit back, asterisk. The next morning she pushed the stroller to her old university and knocked on Mike's office door. He went pale when he saw her and hustled her inside, pulling the door shut behind him. Anna didn't waste time. She told him she needed $3,000 in child support, not a request, a statement. Mike began to hedge. She didn't let him finish. She stated what she needed, turned around, and left. That evening, Anna had dinner with her mother. She recounted what she had done. Xiang Jia was impressed, and told her that if she had possessed that kind of nerve when she was young, her own life might have turned out very differently. What Anna didn't know was that the dinner had been arranged not for her, but to introduce Xiang Jia's new boyfriend, who, during the meal, got down on one knee and proposed. While all this was happening, Anna's phone rang. An unknown number. The caller identified herself as Mike's mother, which made her Bao Bao's grandmother. She characterized what Anna had done as extortion and demanded a private meeting the following day to resolve it. Anna returned to the table to find her mother glowing. She watched the scene with a feeling she couldn't quite name, something like longing. It was the kind of romance she had never experienced. Back at the apartment that night, she lay on the sofa with cabbage leaves pressed against her chest, trying to ease the inflammation. Then came a knock at the door. The man standing there was the biological father who had been absent from her life for 20 years. Jinx had once been a globally recognized professional wrestler. After retiring from an injury, he had fallen into substance abuse, and had recently completed a residential rehabilitation program. Her roommate Susie, an obsessive fan of Jinx's, nearly lost her mind with excitement at finding her idol in the apartment. Anna didn't know what to do with him. But Jinx looked into the crib at Bao Bao with a patience and gentleness that was immediately apparent, and, inexplicably, the baby who screamed for everyone else went completely quiet in the arms of this large, tattooed grandfather. Jinx pulled a check out of his pocket drawn on his welfare payments and handed it to Anna as a form of apology. It wasn't much, but Anna had nothing, so she took it. When she learned he had nowhere to stay, she told him he could sleep on the sofa for a night. He ended up staying for the rest of his life. From the moment Jinx moved in, he took over everything. He was up at 5 in the morning scrubbing the bathroom tile with a toothbrush. He looked after Bao Bao without being asked. With her father handling the home, Anna finally had time to look for work, only to be told at the employment agency that her resume amounted to a stint managing food deliveries and a job delivering yogurt. She told them she wasn't afraid of hard work, that she'd do anything. But every interview ended the same way once they learned she'd have to bring the baby. That evening, while washing her face, Anna noticed that her right breast had begun to sag noticeably from months of uneven feeding. She gave it an absent-minded squeeze and milk hit the mirror. She stared at it. She looked at her nearly empty wallet. Something clicked. She opened her laptop and registered on the subscription platform she'd been looking at. She uploaded a photo from her current stage of life and set the tipping price at $20. The next day, while talking to her son, her phone buzzed. Her first follower. $20. That was all it took. She stopped listening to the criticism from outside and put her whole self into building the account. Her literary background turned out to be an unexpectedly sharp tool. Her written replies to fan messages were witty, warm, and precisely calibrated, generating substantial tips. Within 3 days she had 200 followers. Her roommate Susie, watching this unfold, offered to help. As a committed cosplay enthusiast, Susie had an entire room full of costumes and knew how to handle a camera. The two of them became a production team, spending their days staging and shooting content together. Jinx handled the housework and the baby without complaint. Then came the day things went sideways. Anna was mid-shooting costume when Jinx, unable to find the pacifier, pushed the door open without knocking. He stood there taking in the scene. He knew the platform well. Women from the wrestling circuit had used it for years. That didn't make it better, in his view. He confronted Anna directly. She didn't back down for a second. She told him her mother had worked in restaurants that required revealing uniforms. Her father was a professional wrestler who performed for paying crowds, and she was a single mother who needed money to keep her child alive. Nobody had the standing to judge her. The argument drove a wedge between them that lasted several days. The thought came at a professional wrestling fan expo that Jinx invited Anna to attend, a gesture of wanting her to understand who he had been. At the event, Jinx ran into his old wrestling partner, Lace. The crowd pushed and cheered until the two of them agreed to get back in the ring for a demonstration bout. They ran through their established choreography. Jinx executed a perfect spinning throw and then, absorbing a flying kick from Lace, went down and couldn't get up. His old injury had given out completely. In the makeshift backstage area, lying on a cot with the sound of applause filtering through the walls, Jinx finally understood his daughter's position clearly. He apologized. He told her he had been wrong to judge her. He thought about what he did for a living, performing a scripted spectacle to entertain a paying crowd, and recognized that what Anna was doing was exactly the same thing in a different ring. Both of them were putting on a performance to survive. He accepted her work. He went further. He offered to have himself and Lace provide coaching on movement and physical performance to improve the quality of her shoots. Under the full weight of a life that had given her very little, Anna found a way through, absurd on the surface, entirely real underneath, and kept herself and her son afloat.